Everybody loves beast mode, strong performing fragrances, but today I'm going to give you some that you might not own. Maybe you've looked at these before and decided not to buy them. Maybe you've never heard of some of these, but the point is these aren't your usual suspects. And so by that I mean there's no Sauvage Elixir, there's no insert typical, Dior Homme Parfum. A lot of things like that that usually come up, which to be fair, are beast mode scents that are worth mentioning. You might have those already, you might not want to hear about them again. So I went through my collection and I'm picking out some things that you don't hear talked about every day, at least on the topic of beast mode. And honestly, just in general, these are a lot more under the radar. So I guess, the beast mode performance is kind of a little bonus if you're looking for something that's a bit different first and foremost. These are going to provide that to you. We've got, it looks like only one niche. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I did that. There's one niche in here. I had another one in here. I switched it out. So we're going to try to keep it relatively affordable here. A lot of the designers are pretty reasonably priced, nothing too crazy. The one niche at the end here is a little bit more expensive. Not going to be everybody's choice, but wanted to throw in a bit of a variety. And so I'll link all of these down below. You can buy them at discounters and things like that, save some money. The first one is a new release from Risasi, and it's House Ice. I'll be the first to admit, I was not expecting to ever see a flanker of this. I don't know why. I mean, the original House has been out since end of 2015, early 2016. It's quite a while, and no activity within that line since then. In fact, it wasn't even really a fragrance line because it was just one existing scent. And then kind of towards the end of 23, this one popped up out of nowhere. And just given the track record that the original has had over the years, I knew it was going to be a big release. And so once it became available on discounters, I picked up a bottle, and here it is. I've had it for a while. I haven't done a video on this one standalone. Obviously too late to do a first impressions. Maybe I'll do a review at some point, but hasn't been super high on the priority list. I will feature it here and kind of talk about it briefly. This one has a lot of apple, musk, amber, some lemon, some orange blossom. And the way I describe this one is kind of like a mixture between the original House or Invictus Aqua meets some kind of sweet Y eau de parfum. And that's coming from the apple and that sort of thing. So there is a pretty substantial sweetness to this one. Actually, this was my scent of the day, and it might seem unseasonable here, at least where it's cold, but it's one that worked really well today, just because it has that heavier backbone. And this is one where when it's really hot outside, it might be a bit too much sometimes. And so I think with a little bit of a colder environment surrounding it, it does it some good. And it performed great today. Now today it was in the negatives, wind chill, real temp was in the single digits Fahrenheit, so it was cold outside, and this one held on like a champ. I was very impressed. So yeah, House Ice, definitely a beast mode scent that's going to do really well. You might not have it yet because it's brand new, but still that fits the bill of a lot of people probably just don't have it. And if you're someone who maybe, isn't a big fan of the original House or something, maybe this is one you would like, maybe not. But I do think it is worth picking up if you can get this one for a decent price. This next one is Terre d'Hermès Pure Parfum version. So I would wager that a lot of you guys probably have the original. It's kind of like a classic men's staple of a scent, right? I would say, a good majority of you guys have probably picked up, Eau Très Fresh sometime before it was discontinued because it was catching some hype, and then also the newest one, maybe even Eau Givre, right? I think those are the kind of main ones. I think things like the Pure Parfum and Eau Intense Vetiver are a little bit more low-key. And I would say especially the Parfum. And the reason why is that price point is going to drive a lot of people away. This one here is a bit more expensive than the others. However, it is what is intended to be a pure parfum concentrated version of that already super successful original DNA. It takes that woody, orangey, masculine, spicy scent and just takes it to the next level. And so it's one of those situations where if you don't like the original Terre d'Hermès Eau de Toilette, you're not going to like this because it's that, but even more extreme. If you're someone who likes the original and you want something a bit heavier, stronger, more powerful, then this is exactly what you would want. So the price point is going to be, kind of what raises the barrier of entry to this one because it is a bit more expensive. And this bottle size here is, I believe it's a 75, yeah, 2.5, 75. Pure Parfum, and they kind of come in oddball sizes. I think you can only get the 75, or then you have to jump up to a big mega bottle, which I don't even know exactly what it is, but I don't think there's a ton of in between, at least to the best of my memory here, whereas the original was kind of more in a standard 100 or maybe 120-ish something. So, a bit of an odd one, but it's really good, very strong, and a lot of you just might not have it. This next one has been around for a while. I want to say maybe 2014, 15 time frame there. Could be wrong on that. Maybe even a bit earlier. Don't know. But it's one that was never really embraced with open arms. Pretty early on, it kind of was dubbed as one of those challenging scents that's going to be very specific, and not everybody's going to like it. And even still to this day, it maintains that same general idea where a lot of people just are not really going to be going for this. From Gucci, it is Gucci Guilty Absolute. And this one really can get you into trouble because the original Gucci Guilty, a classic. So many people wear that stuff. Gucci Guilty Black, same thing. Fresh, bright, easygoing, clean, citrusy. Anybody and everybody could wear that and enjoy it no matter the age or anything. It works. Then you get over to something like this, which is the complete opposite. And so if you're not careful and you just go straight into this with no prior research, you might be surprised. This one has leather, woods, vetiver. It is very leathery, rich, heavy, strong. And, for someone who wants something unique, kind of going back to what we were talking about in the beginning of the video, this is perfect, but that's not everybody. And so this does not fit the typical characteristics of a mass-pleasing, versatile men's scent. It definitely doubles down on the masculine part of that, but in terms of being, a big compliment getter and something you can wear every day, even in the summertime, this is not that. So make sure you're kind of knowing what you're signing up for here, especially because this one isn't necessarily cheap. I think you can, it's in the $100-ish range, and so it's up there. But if you want something that is strong, beast mode, and I'm not just saying strong in terms of performance, which it is, but just the scent itself, the way it delivers itself, the character and the complexity that this one has is really next level. This is something you might want to look into. It's not going to be something that you might find yourself wearing all the time, but it is a really cool scent at the end of the day, something truly different to change it up. Next up, we have Nuit d'Issy Parfum by Issey Miyake. So you just don't really hear a ton about these. Part of the reason because they're kind of in stock, out of stock, and hard to get sometimes. And the other side of it is they're not fresh. They're not, citrusy, aquatic. They don't have a ton of yuzu. They just don't have the same hype characteristics that the original and some of the other fresher flankers have. And also, really quick, did you know you could get entered to win 15 new fragrances or $500 in cash? If you hit the first link down below, you can get entered there. Everything in that bundle is including things like Armani Code Absolu, which is discontinued, hard to find. Mancera Tonka Cola, one of their newer releases, which is really good in my opinion. Several more as well that you can check out, see what you can win. 2 drawings, 2 chances to win. First drawing is going to be for that bundle. Second going to be for that $500 cash prize. Now there's a referral program you can take advantage of as well, where after you enter, you'll get a custom link, and anybody else who enters using your link, you will get referred bonus entries as well. So cool little way to get even more entries for free. But yeah, Nuit d'Issy Parfum has a lot of vanilla, leather, some pepper in here. It's rich, sweet, mysterious, and sexy, and smells fantastic. This is one of the best in the line. It's mysterious, it's rich, it's dark and complex. It's an absolute beauty of a scent. again, going back to what I was saying, the main issue is going to be availability can be limited. So make sure you jump on my mailing list, texting list. Anytime something rare like this comes into stock, I do notify about it, and it happens more often than you think. It just, things sell out quick. And so if you're at work, if you're busy and not able to check all the time, but if you do get notified about it, you know, via an email, via a text, it's something that you can end up picking up pretty easily, really with no effort required on your end. Prada Amber Porom Intense is one that you can get pretty consistently on discounters, however, for around $90 to $100. This one is basically all about the patchouli. It's a patchouli bomb with some lavender, some myrrh in here as well. It's a much more mature and, you know, some people would say older school smelling scent, old person smelling scent. And I can see where they're coming from, and, you know, is what it is. This is kind of going back to the type of thing that if you want to stand out and smell a bit different compared to all of the other scents out there that are kind of running together and smelling similar, Prada Amber Porom Intense is the one you would want. It has this kind of vintage soapy smell to it, so it's not like your new style of soapy men's scent where they're like blue scents, it smells like shower gel. It's a more premium, elegant, again, mature, soapy richness. So it's just a bit of a different style. This one does have great performance, one you should check out if you're, you know, into that sort of thing. This next one is Azaro Porom Wild Mint. So this one essentially has mint, no surprise, and a ton of patchouli as well. And, you know, when it comes down to it, personally, I don't like this that much. It's not something that I hardly ever wear. It is, for me, and this isn't something that is usually the case, but it's too strong a lot of times. We're talking performance, it's just an absolute, you know, obnoxious performer, but just the scent itself. So minty, of course, and essentially the patchouli gives off kind of a chocolatey feel in this one in particular, and sometimes that note will do that, and that's kind of what it's doing here. And it's just, oh, it's just a bit too overbearing. And I'm still featuring it because it is a beast mode scent that you probably don't own. And just because I don't like it doesn't mean other people, you know, wouldn't like it. A lot of people would. It's also not unreasonable either. You know, I think it's a bit more expensive than it used to be, but you're looking up into the $50, $60 range. It's not horrible. And so if you want something beast mode that's minty and chocolatey and just crazy strong, check this one out. Next up, we have Carolina Herrera Bad Boy Le Parfum. This one has cannabis, leather, vetiver, and pepper. Kind of a tongue twister there if you try to say that too quick. So it's green, kind of herbal, has a peppery, leathery, rich, masculine, spicy kick to it. I think this one is a really solid release. It is infinitely better than the original, to which I would say that one's not even really worth buying in my opinion. I mean, sure, it's good. It's a great mass-pleasing, good performing scent. I just think this one is better in most categories there, and it would be one that I would put your money into first. And essentially this one fits the criteria of this video that we've been talking about. It's a beast mode scent, so great performance, and given the track record of what started off as the original Bad Boy, immediately tanking and then getting clowned on and then people losing interest, a lot probably never even thought to try this, much less own a bottle. So one you should check out. 1 Million Lucky is one that a lot of OG people probably own, okay? And so this might be like, really, dude, you're putting this in here? A lot of OG people own this, okay? Because there was a point where this was at the top of the hype wave. A lot of newcomers probably don't own this. The availability on discounters has diminished substantially. Now, you could still get it from time to time. You could still get it at retail, so it's not impossible to get. And really, the difference in price between retail and discounter when this is in stock is not significant, and so you could just go out and buy it at retail if you wanted to. And so because that hype wave has gone down and because it simply isn't available on the gray market anymore, which is where most people do their shopping, at the end of the day, a lot of guys and girls don't want to leave the discount websites because they don't want to pay retail, even if the savings is insignificant. And so when it's not available there anymore, people just stop buying it. That's not always the case. You know, People go into stores and buy stuff at retail all the time, but I'm talking fragrance community here. And so I would recommend checking this one out if you don't have it, is what I'm trying to say. And I know there's a lot of people new to the channel, new to the hobby. I see it every day in the comments. So one you should look into, it has plum, hazelnut, which is a very interesting mixture, and then some ozonic notes. It's fresh and sweet. Did I say honey in there as well? Plum, honey, ozonic notes, hazelnut. Just a combination that isn't done often and really works out in its favor. Running down to the end with Gucci Intense Oud. So it has oud. Get a bit of a smokiness in here, some sweet notes going on. The oud is not challenging. It's nothing too difficult at all. It's a nice designer level oud that's easy to wear. A lot of people aren't going to be owning this because it says oud in the name, and that scares people off. And I understand that, but it's nothing to be worried about with this. It's somewhat cost prohibitive as well, although not as much as some niche products out there. You know, that you're looking kind of into the low to mid 100s. The prices have stabilized on this one, and it's gotten better depending on where you're shopping. Somewhere within the 120 to 150 range is where you typically see this. It's a bit more expensive than other designers, for sure. But when you compare this to something like Nascimato Black Afgano, which is what it's similar to in terms of scent, price per milliliter works out to be significantly cheaper with this. So one worth looking into if you want a good performing scent that is just not your typical designer release. And we're going to end this one off with a ridiculously expensive niche scent, because why not? Some people just want to spend money, and this is one that you can do that with. Amouage Reflection 45 Extrait. Now, I've said this before, in my opinion, this is the one to get if you compare this to the EDP, which is the original. That being said, price point is a major issue. So, you know, when I'm saying that, I'm talking scent, performance, complexity, everything about the Extrait, 45% concentration. That is crazy. Everything about this is better than the EDP. That being said, again, not everybody's going to want to pay for this. It retails for $500, and I'm telling you right now, don't go out and pay $500. I didn't pay that. I bought it when it hit discounters. You're looking at the mid 200s, 240, 250, 260-ish. What does the original go for? You know, low 100s, 120-ish, something like that, maybe 130. So a difference of $100 and change. So it's not huge, but it's still significant. And at the end of the day, this one also is not always available. So kind of one that you can't just go out and buy whenever. I mean, you could at retail, but discounter-wise, it's few and far between. Jump on my mailing list, and if you want this one bad enough, I'll get you taken care of when it pops up. And that's it, guys. Those are some beast mode scents that you probably don't have, but should look into. If you want something different that's going to perform great, these are going to do the job for you. And if you want to get entered to win 15 new fragrances or $500 in cash, hit the link down below, get entered there. And again, you can win anything from discontinued Armani code Absolu, Mancera, Tonka Cola, Brioni, Eau de Parfum, Intense, and many more. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.